Me live here at the desk is Assistant Trade and Manufacturing Minister Tim Ayres. Tim, where to start with this? Is Labor going to acquiesce to these demands?
Well, Laura, I had the benefit of hearing your questions and not Michelle's answers to that interview. What I can tell you is that I'm not going to preempt the outcomes of the Jobs and Skills Summit here on your show today, but there are going to be some strong inputs, we are looking for answers to some of these big questions over the future of jobs and skills arrangements. And the enterprise bargaining system is under real strain in Australia. Less and less people are covered by it.
The system that it's Labor designed.
Yeah, in the 1980s and 1990s.
Yeah.
We're now in 2022. And we have to consider, what shape the bargaining system should have for the future. And if our objective is to lift wages, to lift productivity and build more cooperative industrial relations, then we have to have an open mind for these sorts of proposals. We'll listen very carefully to what the trade union movement has to say about these questions, and we'll listen very carefully to business.
Well, let's use the example that's in your portfolio, manufacturing, small businesses. There's plenty of small businesses that manufacture. As you've pointed out, it's changed a lot in the last couple of years. We used to be talking about big, huge factories. Technologies meant the workforce is a bit smaller. What would be the benefit in having an EBA for a business with less than 20 employees?
Well, maybe if I can take you back to some of my experience in this sector. The first thing is that some of those big firms have been forced offshore by the last government. We have dropped down to 6 or 7% of the economy in manufacturing, in large part because the last government shoveled tens of thousands of jobs overseas. There is, I have to tell you, some real limits to what enterprise bargaining can achieve in its current state in the manufacturing sector.
But what about in small business?
Small firms, hundreds of thousands of workers shut out of collective bargaining outcomes, and as a consequence of that, wages are falling in that sector. And the thing about collective bargaining is that what strong collective bargaining regimes lead to, all the international evidence shows this, more jobs, lower unemployment, higher productivity, higher wages, more cooperative industrial relations.
But we don't need those first two things. We've got a worker shortage here. You'd think the system would sort that out. Again, where's the evidence that EBAs, collective bargaining, leads to greater productivity?
So all of the evidence collected by the OECD and all of the reputable economic evidence from overseas demonstrates that collective bargaining outcomes lead to higher productivity and higher wages. Now, some of the questions that you're pointing to in terms of skills shortages, it's like the old song, the answer ain't there in terms of the bargaining system. It's going to be in how we deal with skills training and some of these questions about the migration system, and we'll be working through all of those. This is a complex web of issues that we have to sort through as a country. And one of the things that this government has made it really clear we're going to do, we're not going to play the old divide and politics, the divide and sort of conquer politics.
The unions are doing that for you.
Well, what the unions are doing is putting a set of propositions.
Well, they know how to really rile up the business community.
And there's I think they've got you a bit riled up, Laura. I
think it's an important debate. I think it's an important debate. Going into the Jobs Summit, you need outcomes, right? I think some of these suggestions on both sides are counterproductive. Do you not agree?
I reckon it would be a strange old job summit if we had everybody dragooned into, walking in, with a list of things that they were sure everybody was going to agree with. Actually, we need to expand the list of propositions and ideas and policy proposals, and some of these things make sense.
This is a big test for Labor, though, isn't it? I mean, the unions have been waiting for Labor to get back into power for a decade. They're not going to miss this opportunity. So where's your thinking at?
Well, I look at the structure of our enterprise bargaining system at the moment, and it shuts most workers and firms out. I look at the experience overseas where, in the countries with big, strong manufacturing sectors, with small firms and large firms, they benefit from different types of collective bargaining modes.
Okay.
And why would, if we're after higher employment, lower unemployment, good jobs, higher productivity, higher wages. You know, like I want some of that action for Australia.
Okay.
I want us to be competitive. I want us to build our manufacturing sector, and I want good jobs for girls and boys who are leaving school in the manufacturing sector. And I think that's a challenge for industry. It's a challenge for the unions. It's a challenge for industry to try and build that future. And we're going to try and do it together with people, not by telegraphing the decisions prior to the summit.
Look, we're going to take very close notice of the summit. You're right, I am revved up. I think everyone should be over where we are at the moment.
Everybody should be interested in this.
Exactly.
Absolutely.
We will speak next week.
Terrific.
Thank you so much.